The next task, after we can get the youth to unite on a common platform, is to outline and agree on a set of objectives to unite and mobilize around achieving. I have come up with and proposed the following 11. The first is devolution of power to states and local governments for optimum accountability. You can call it restructuring, you can call it whatever. The bottom line is we need to devolve power away from the bottleneck that is the federal government. This is the easiest and the quickest fix to Nigeria's problems. And that, together with education, is the key to maximizing development. Local governments and states should be where the action is, as political laboratories that give free rein to a diversity of ideas and various solutions to our various problems, most of which are local anyway. This will bring government closer to the people for better accountability and responsiveness. This would greatly reduce the adverse and corrupting influence of what we currently have as the imperial presidency, and the fact that we permit this to exist is to the detriment of all of us. Security. We need to triple the pay of policemen and also triple their number. Paying policemen 50,000 naira a month honestly makes no sense. With major retraining and the recruitment of qualified, educated, unemployed youths, we should make being a police officer, like we should also make being a teacher, super attractive. This should be pursued together, obviously, with the state police and a National Guard system to be established under the federal government. The federal government should then focus on funding a first-class police academy for the minimum standards to produce quality police officers nationwide. The focus should be to make our nation one of the safest in the world. This will promote investment, commerce, and tourism. And in general, this will permit nighttime economies, which will triple employment to flourish across the nation, boosting employment and the government's tax base to do more. We're severely under-policed as a nation, and the level of insecurity we permit ourselves to live with makes no sense. We also need to use technology that is currently available. I see no reason why drones cannot be adapted for safe urban and rural policing. This would boost rapid response to emergencies and track criminal elements to the very end. Also integral to providing security nationwide is the need to ensure that our judicial system works for all, and that its enforcement mechanism, the police, is potently effective and impartial, particularly at the retail level in local communities, such that they provide a satisfactory platform for the average person on the street or whole communities to seek justice and redress for perceived injustice without having to resort to self-help. And of course, you cannot sustainably address security without addressing the economy, specifically mass unemployment. On the economy, I think the key objective on the economy should be on measures to boost low-interest credit to small and medium-sized businesses and businesses in general. And for this, a key part would also be to remove the government from competing with businesses for credit, rather than serving as a catalyst for growth. In addition, I think we need to establish a special court system that would fast-track the enforcement that banks can rely on for defaulting debtors. This would encourage them to keep further lending. Secondly, we need to change and effect federal allocations through dollar receipt accounting. What do I mean by this? Currently, what happens is when we sell oil, the dollar is kept by the central bank and it then prints the equivalent in naira and distributes it to the states. What I propose, which others have done, is that we do dollar receipt accounting. That way the states now have to take those dollars in their account and buy naira and boost the value of the naira. Currently, this creates a perverse incentive for the government to corruptly steal from all of us. Because what the government now does is every time they have a shortfall, they simply depreciate the naira in order to meet their own salary and other obligation shortfalls. Fourthly, We need to radically increase investments in agriculture. We have, I think, a competitive advantage in this regard, and we are still underperforming as far as in that respect. We also need to boost investment in mineral resources and actually continue support for the Dangote refinery, which will be actually transformative for our economy. Fifth, I think there should be further power reform. At this point, I think there should be cost-effective solar power systems for residential and small business use, while we allow the big utility, the GenCos, to focus on industrial customers, and that would help boost mass employment. Speaking of transformative projects, Nigeria needs to immediately adopt and as soon as possible pursue the desert to energy initiatives such as Desert Tech, whereby we cover the entire Sahara Desert with solar panels for power generation and have the North earn as much foreign exchange as the Niger Delta for the country. Such singular initiative, which is low-tech and very labor-intensive, when properly done, has the capacity to singularly solve the youth unemployment crisis in the North and transform the economy of the North and the nation, and also solve various social and environmental problems, including the farmers and herdsmen conflicts that result from environmental factors. A video and other materials of such a transformative initiative are accessible on the website REX2019.com. So please enlighten yourself and see what's possible, the associated challenges, and how we can readily overcome such. And six, we need to do all the small things as well. We need to pass a law that prohibits and penalizes employers that owe their employees for more than 1 month, yet continue to pay themselves. Education. This should ultimately be the biggest focus of all levels of government. And the focus should be on free, quality education. I repeat, free, quality education. This should include free feeding, beginning with educationally disadvantaged states. In addition to this, we need to employ technology, such as the deployment of solar-powered e-learning systems to boost the quality of education rapidly. Under this system, you can simply record a top-quality teaching professional and transmit that for that quality of level of education in all schools. The idea for the solar-powered e-learning platform is very simple and cheap. Pick one secured classroom in each secondary school for starters. Put just 4 solar panels of 300 watts each on the roof. Install a 42-inch TV or projector in the room. Include a single laptop which you connect to the TV or projector and add Wi-Fi. And voila, you can download and project into every classroom, in every school, anywhere, the very best classes in the world, in every subject, to our children in every school, no matter how remote the location or village. It would be like sending every child to the best school abroad, simply by bringing the best teaching to every Nigerian child. The idea would be to initially rotate various classes in this single room for subjects like maths, science, and English, with the teachers paying attention and pausing as required to ask questions of the students and engage the class in interactive sessions. This would, of course, also serve as a platform for teacher training. And at the weekends, we can provide pre-K learning classes and videos to children under 5 years old in the community. This can also be further leveraged to provide for telemedicine to the community. A video of such actual deployment in operation is available to view on the REX2019.com website. The cost to deploy such a system to every secondary school in the country is actually less than $150 million. The government can readily fund this. But best of all, the government can actually get the telcos, social media companies like Glo, MTN, or Facebook to bid to fund this in exchange for the opportunity to sign up a new generation of millions of subscribers. I'm sure they will welcome this. Also, we need to triple the pay of teachers. We need to also retrain teachers for 22nd century learning, obviously using online resources as best we can. I believe also education should be a minimum of 43% of all government budgets for the next 5 to 10 years. And finally, I would like that we introduce a unique result-based retirement system to compensate teachers beyond their current basic compensation. By this, we should establish a platform where grateful students that they've taught through the years can annually provide gifts, mostly cash, to them at the end of each year, probably during the holiday season. That way, you can rightfully expect some teachers to become millionaires. Through such a system, teachers are incentivized to readily help each and every student to be successful, because the success of such students benefits the future retirement of such teachers. So the more students each teacher helps to be successful, the more they can expect to be rewarded. This would make teaching exciting and super productive. Corruption is a big thing. I think with structural reforms, we can practically eliminate corruption in government by introducing a few things. Firstly, there should be total transparency. All government credits and debits should be publicly and transparently displayed online in real time, just like we all get for our personal alerts. This should be on a public dashboard for all to monitor, critique, comment, or otherwise review. Every single spend must be public and online with full disclosure of to whom and for what, and of course how much. Introduction of such a radical transparency will be the biggest disinfectant to corruption. And this can easily and readily be achievable with today's technology. In fact, a real-time example of that in operation is displayed on the website I have established as REX2019 to promote this initiative. Secondly, I think we need to remove, or at least drastically reduce, the discretion of the president and governors to approve contracts or to award all blocks. This we can do by the establishment of professional panels of rotating experts to qualify the top 3 candidates for any contract, and then have a public lottery system at the end to determine the ultimate winner. We can have a special government TV channel set up. Thirdly, the same process, a lottery system, should be adopted for nominating the heads of anti-corruption agencies after the list of nominees have been selected by a panel of experts. It shouldn't be the president to do this. That way, you can have career professionals, such as lawyers who will be the government prosecutors, and detectives build their careers and reputation pursuing and taking down corruption. This would remove corruption from political influence as much as possible. By instituting the above 3 simple processes, I think we can virtually eliminate government corruption and have the president focus on the more substantive issues. Healthcare. For healthcare, I would propose there should be rapid deployment of technology to incorporate low-cost telemedicine network into our basic healthcare delivery system. We can begin this perhaps by leveraging the Wi-Fi to be deployed with a solar-powered e-learning platform I propose be deployed to every secondary school and perhaps primary school in the country. We also need continuity for good existing government programs. We need to break the jinx of policy flip-flops and the waste associated with good programs becoming orphaned simply because there's a succeeding administration. I think the next incoming government, whoever that is, should continue to boost support for instance, the Dangote refinery, simply because of its transformative potential, irrespective of any other consideration. And also, there's a current rural electrification program under the current Vice President's office, which is largely solar power driven, which I think should be greatly boosted and continue to be supported. We also need political reform. I believe we need to simplify the process and mechanism for recalling elected officials to foster better accountability. I think any official should be recallable with more than 20% of the number of votes that elected such official into office. We also need some things to boost workers' rights and protections. I think we immediately pass a law that prohibits and penalizes all employers that owe employees for more than 1 month's salary, yet continue to pay themselves. We also need to pass a law that ensures that service workers, such as waiters and waitresses, are paid all amounts due to them as service charge or tips just because those are processed through POS systems shouldn't deny them their rights. And that itself is obviously dampening economic stimuli that such spending from such workers would engender. Cultural reawakening. I think we should have a robust program to preserve and actively promote the history and learnings from our ancient kingdoms and proud ancient societies for the benefit of all Africans and mankind. There's a lot to be learned from that, but from the herbal remedies and things that they advance that are currently disappearing because no one is actually harnessing and promoting them. Lastly, the environment. If there's one thing we can actually benefit from the delay in our development, it's to preserve the environment. We need aggressive, targeted measures, policies and programs to address growing environmental challenges, including desertification, erosion, air pollution, pollution of our various bodies of water, waste management. We need policies to also support large-scale deployment and promotion of solar power and the use of electric vehicles. The aim would be to make solar power the source of power for the vast majority of residences and for small to medium-scale businesses. This is also as part of the power reform and economic programs I highlighted earlier. These efforts would boost domestic manufacturing of solar panels, batteries, and inverters, which itself would boost employment. Finally, for those specifically interested in engaging with me directly, or personally finding out more about me and discussing the programs and ideas I've listed for focus, please visit REX2019.com. It's a platform I've established to support my drive for this movement. There you can read and see more about such programs and my ideas, hopefully contribute as well. Thank you.